Turtles. I like turtles. I like.
Woo! All right. What's up, Turtle Riders? How are we all doing out there? Trying to sign into YouTube right now so we can follow along with the comments. We should be live right now. Let me make sure we are live. Hold on. Okay, we're live. All right, so welcome to the Turtleboy Late Night Garage Podcast. This is our first kind of podcast that we're doing outside of the book club, really, that's been live. I used to do these podcasts alone in my car at like midnight. It was really lonely, and it's just not the same when I'm not interacting with Turtle Riders. I miss it a lot. So, yeah, we're definitely going to start doing the podcast live because, fuck it, even if we get small audiences, I really don't care. As long as I have a couple people to talk to, that's cool by me. All right, so well, it's not a surprise show. It's the podcast. So I've always done the podcast, but it's been like recorded, so we haven't been able to interact. So basically now I'm doing a podcast. That's all this is just like a 30-minute podcast, except you get to ask questions and stuff like that to go along. It livens it up, definitely makes it more interesting, etc. So it's almost like a daily TV show. Yeah, like Chris says, who cares? We live. All right. So, why don't I go and... I won't even fucking share. Who cares? People know. All right, so, wanted to talk about two things today. All right. First up is Uncle Turtleboy so techie. Absolutely. First thing up is the Leigha Genduso story, which we need to talk about right now. So, it's almost like a new book club we're doing. And because our good friend Leigha Genduso, who, if you all recall, is a former Massachusetts state trooper who had no business whatsoever ever becoming a state trooper because in 2000 and I want to say 3 or 4, her boyfriend at the time, Sean Bucci, who was like one of the biggest pot dealers in New England, she lived with him, and not only did she just live with him, like she participated in his business. She found him new clients in the Worcester area. She used to deliver packages, brought all the way out to Worcester, in Christmas wrapping paper. She said she got a thrill out of doing it, all this stuff. And on top of that, when he was arrested, or when they raided his house, he instructed her to hide $275,000 in cash, which she'd laundered to many different places, used to pay for shady, rapey lawyers, etc. And in the end, she was loyal to him for a while, but at the end of the day, when she had to choose between, her own ass and his, she chose her own. So she decides, she was like looking at serious jail time, right? I don't know, a few years in jail, and she wasn't willing to do that. And so she decided to kind of turn state's witness on him. She had a chance to rat him out and say everything in 2005 in front of the grand jury. And she was offered immunity, and she perjured herself. And after that, she, for some reason, got a second chance. I don't know why. At this point, she was applying to become a state police dispatcher by 2006. We know that as a fact. She stated that on masscops.com. And then in 2007... that is when Sean Bucci's trial was, and she gave testimony that stated all these things we just talked about, admitted to all of it. And then in 2008, she became a state police dispatcher. She parlayed that 5 years later into becoming a state trooper. Now, on the way, we know that she dated a guy named Danny Ristine. Danny Ristine was the former disgraced lieutenant colonel. He was a major at the time. He was involved in covering up the Tim Murray crash in Sterling on 190 a few years ago. I don't know, some people remember that. Tim Murray was allegedly doing like, quote-unquote, storm survey damage when he veered off the road going 110 miles an hour on a straightaway. If you've ever driven on 190, it's like the easiest highway to travel on in America. It's just a straight shot, especially at 5 a.m. No one's going to be out. And there were no skid marks, nothing. And a lot of people think Tim Murray was trying to kill himself because it was a miracle. This guy, it was a complete wreck. And he was being investigated for some other shady shit, whatever. Well, Ristine made his cell phone disappear. And so the guy's like wicked shady, obviously. Well, so she dates this guy, and next thing you know, she's a state trooper. She also happened to be friends with Marion McGovern, the former colonel of the Massachusetts State Police, who was seen at her induction ceremony. We've been over all this. We could talk about Leigha Genduso all day. But she decided to write a tell-all book now that she is no longer a state trooper. Now, have you guys read the book? If Turtle is listening along, have you guys read this book? Because this was fantastic, this book. How did Howie seem a little incoherent tonight? Why did he seem a little incoherent? I thought he seemed fine. Because I was on, if you guys missed it, I was on the Howie Carr show today talking about this very topic. And I'm sure, like you said, hey, Leah, I'm sure you're listening to Uncle Turtleboy tonight. Absolutely. I like Howie Carr a lot. I really like going on his show. I feel like we kind of do what Howie does in many ways. He's just been doing it for many more years. And he's really an established name. I mean, I'm not saying I want to be Howie Carr because he's a little more political than I am. But I definitely admire his craft and his game. And definitely the kind of thing that I envision this blog becoming in the future. You know, the guy's been around forever. He's taken down a lot of powerful people. Like, you know, Whitey Bulger. He's involved in, he wrote about Whitey a lot, etc. And let's see. So, anyway, imagine how much better the book would be if it was just one giant run-on sentence. I know, seriously. So anyway, let's talk about his book. All right, because this was, or her book rather, Leigha Genduso's, because this is one hell of a read. Now, I was really excited when I saw she wrote a book, and I'm really surprised she put it on a PDF file instead of just like putting it on Amazon and selling it, because I'd definitely buy that shit. I don't know about some of you people. There was no way I wasn't buying this. Like, give me a break. And the book is called Demons Behind Me. It's just one PDF file. It's like, first of all, can you use like some paragraphs or something, hon? This is just not a good look on the eyes. She writes like a ratchet. It's terrible. And it's 74 pages. I thought we'd get some really juicy stuff out of this book. But what did you guys think of the book? Because I was a little, I thought it was good. It was interesting. Just to like laugh at what a freaking nightmare she is. But at the same time, she didn't get to the good shit, you know? She didn't talk about the things I wanted to talk about. What are people saying? Let's see. Charlie says, you can tell Howie has reached a different level of respect for you. He lets you speak longer without all the interjecting now, it seems. Yeah, definitely. Well, I've been on the radio for a long time. Keep that in mind. And I kind of talked about that in the book, about how, like, there's good radio and there's bad radio, right? The bad radio is the people that call up and they're like, and they just don't have anything to say. The host has to prompt them along. Good radio is when you just come out and like, I have notes and everything. I just fire away, man. I practiced that on Felger and Maz back in the day. I would just go on there and they would let me talk longer than most callers because I would just yell at them for 90 seconds until they're like, okay, we got to go on to the next caller. There's a lot of bad radio out there, so you got to know what's good and what's bad radio, right? So yeah. So anyway, she writes it like a police report. Yeah, she does. She tried to like use a lot of police language in this and kind of like show off, you know, oh, we call this a D29. There was one point where she like talks shit about the Salem police. Right, early on. So she starts off, let's just talk about the beginning of the book. She starts off talking about how she wanted to go to, she got pregnant, of course, and she didn't, like, you know, her mom is freaking trash, moved out, lived in Salem, or Shrewsbury, or wherever. Just a, like, you know, oh, poor me, I had a fucked up childhood. No one gives a shit. Join the club, all right? And she gets pregnant, and she wants to get an abortion. So she goes down to Planned Parenthood. Now, I didn't know this. She was only 16 at the time. And she goes down there to get an abortion. And they're like, you need something from a judge if you don't want us to tell your mom. And so she went in front of a judge and she got that. I don't know about you guys. I think that's a little fucked up. I don't care what your opinion on abortion is. Not to go off on a tangent here. But there's something wrong with a fucking state where you can get an abortion and you don't even have to tell mom and dad. You know, I understand why that law, I understand why they would put that in, right? Parents wouldn't let their kid get an abortion. Who knows? But like the things that you have to get a fucking a permission slip to go on a field trip if you're her age. But you can just fucking go on that's fucking bizarre. Anyway, she made it really clear throughout that book. I couldn't tell you how many times, right? And yeah, people are like, yeah, definitely I would have paid for the book, all this stuff. People are saying the self-vindication she speaks with is a precursor to the eventual, yeah, it's all this shit. Like, it's all just like, the whole book is like, I'm this kind of like hero, whatever. So, anyway, I forgot where I was going with this, but, I love this when she was at the Planned Parenthood. And this kind of like sums up her mentality, right? She goes, while getting the abortion, right? Like, let me read this to you, one part of this. This is ridiculous. So she finds out she's pregnant. She's like, this was by far one of the hardest decisions. And by the way, she makes it clear several times in this book, several times. I don't want to have kids, right? I don't want this. I don't want that. And I'm not judging people that don't have kids. It's perfectly fine, right? But in my opinion, she doesn't want kids because she's selfish. She is. She's selfish. Because having children is an act of selflessness. You're like kind of like surrendering your life until they move out of the house, at least, for a long time. Like, your life is their life, or their life is your life. You know, you don't have a life anymore. If you can fit a life in there, that's good for you. So I think she's like that kind of person, right? Like, it's always about Leigha. Leigha wants this, Leigha wants that, blah, blah, blah. So let me read this to you about when she's in Planned Parenthood. That was by far one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. I remember sitting in the recovery room, bawling my eyes out. Some chick next to me is yapping about how excited she is to see the new movie Titanic, going on and on and on. I finally looked at her and snapped. I couldn't help it. I glared at her, interrupted her. Well, she was being a weird-ass movie critic, and asked her, do you know you just took a life? Is this really okay to you? All caps. Okay, time out. If you just had an abortion in Planned Parenthood, you don't get to lecture other women about abortion. You know, that you don't get to lecture other women, you just took a life. Well, if that's how you feel, then bitch, so did you. The fuck is wrong with you? Right? Is this really okay to you? But here's Leigha the cop coming in there. Leigha the moral fucking voice of morality coming in here, letting everybody know that she got an abortion, but because she didn't feel good about it, she's good. So she gets a free pass, okay, out of this. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And that kind of like, and honestly, if you don't think anything's wrong with abortion, then you should be able to talk about Titanic when you're in there. And that's a fact. I mean, it's one way or the other. When it comes to abortion, either it's killing a baby or it's not. If you don't think it's killing a baby, then why the fuck shouldn't you be able to talk about Titanic in there, right? If you think it's killing a baby, then you shouldn't get an abortion, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, I think it's killing a baby, but I'm going to do it anyway. The fuck? What's wrong with you? I mean, that makes no sense. And that kind of sums up what Leigha Genduso is all about. Oh, we got to make sure this is tape. Hold on. Where'd my podcast go? Hold on. All right, the podcast overloaded there. We're back. Anyway, she tells tall tales. Yeah. So anyway, I'll take things. Oh, I guarantee that happened. I would not surprise that at all. I think people are saying, I'll take things that never happened for $500. I think that did happen because I think she's one of those. I definitely think she's one of those. So anyway, so she goes on to talk about how she's like, you know, at Scuttlebutts and she meets a state trooper there and he's getting drunk. And it's like a burn book of the state police. And she talks about meeting Sean Bucci, the drug dealer, and she's attracted to him basically because he's got power. That's the kind of guys that she is interested in, right? And so she starts dating him, like banging him like immediately. And next thing you know, she's dealing in drugs, like a lot of things in the book we've talked about already. And we've already read about it on Turtleboy, etc. I wasn't here to reread her whole fucking story about selling drugs. I already know about that. I want to know, what I really wanted to know was, A, how she reacted to the Turtleboy blogs. Like, what? I want to hear more about that. and B, how the fuck she got the state police job. Those are the two things I wanted to know. I found out one of those things. The first one. All right? And let me read this to you. I love how she calls me this in there. I believe I was 22 at the time. I could look... she's like talking about the transcripts. I can't read them. When my whole world came down to an end on February 19th, 2018, and the scumbag, quote-unquote, blogger, who claims to be a news reporter that has more skeletons in his closet than I do, uploaded my testimony, I didn't them. So, first of all, who claims to be a news reporter? Bitch, we are a news reporter. I don't know if you noticed this, but the story made the news. It was in the Boston Globe. It was in the Boston Herald. It was in the Washington Post. That shit was news. So don't get it twisted with the quote-unquote blogger thing. And by the way, Leah, you were a turtle writer before that. She was friends with Clarence Woods Emerson. That's how we got so many of your fucking pictures, right? Because you were fucking friends. You were like constantly virtue signaling about like the thin blue line on Facebook, and that's kind of like our brand, whatever. And so it went along with that. But you were never really a cop. This chick really thinks she was a cop. You were never a cop. Like, don't get it. You were a fake cop for 4 years. That's it. And so she goes on and she's like, she talks about, she like lectures the Salem police. Let me read this to you. About her car getting broken in by junkies. Officer Courtney, Officer Courtney conveniently never returned my calls after that and was always oddly out of the station when I attempted to reach him to discuss. We checked the vehicle twice was the response when I asked. After being a state trooper for 4 years, I can tell you that you need to be seriously blind if you are actually allegedly searching a vehicle after 3 subjects are arrested in a stolen vehicle with past 94C, aka narcotics history on their criminal board of probation record, and not notice a damn CVS bag under the seat. Okay, so first of all, I fucking hate this shit. You, my friend, suck as a cop. Well, you know what? At least he was a cop. Right? At least that guy was a cop. And she loves to throw in like 94C and like throw it in parentheses, aka narcotics. Like, oh, look at me. I can do cop talk. I was a real cop at one point. Oh, I'm so special. Shut the fuck up. You were never a cop, bitch. You were just a fucking slam pig, right? That got fucked and dicked by every guy in the Massachusetts State Police. That's the only thing I learned from this. That's the one big thing I learned from this book is what a fucking whore you are. I knew you were a liar. I knew you were a cheat. I knew you were a pot dealer, right? But I didn't know what a fucking cumbucket you were until I heard this one, right? You cannot resist badge cock. You can't help it. You see a badge, it doesn't matter who's got the badge on, you're fucking them. That's you. So stop it with this. Stop with garbage. So anyway, she talks about meeting, the U.S. attorney and all this shit. Yeah, I do need a Leah voice. Yeah. And all this shit. Yeah, fuck her. So she talks about meeting the U.S. attorney, Peter Bucci, or Peter Levitt, whatever his name is. Now, keep in mind, this guy gave her a pass in 2005. I'm just going to come out and say it. What other people want. I think he was banging her, too. Because this guy's shady as fuck. I spoke to him on the phone. He was the U.S. attorney at the time. Now he works in criminal defense. You do that if you want to make more money. Right, because you make a lot more money in defense than you do in working for the state or the U.S. the government, whatever. And think about this guy, right? He gives her a deal for immunity. All you have to do is tell the truth. And what does she do? She fucking lies in 2005. She lies. So she's going to jail for that, right? Now the immunity's off the table. Except it wasn't. Except she got the first ever fucking mulligan in the history of law and order in this country. She got a fucking mulligan. And she got to testify again in 2007. And what do you know? Everything she said in her testimony was exactly what he wanted, and it put Sean Bucci away. Now, I'm not here to defend Sean Bucci, but I will say he got a raw deal. I mean, think about it. Pot's legal in this state now, right? Guy fucking lost like 10, 12 years of his life for selling fucking weed. Give me a break. And his fucking partner here made sure he got extra years because she couldn't do any time because she couldn't add up to her crimes. Now, in the book, she actually says, right after like the whole thing goes down and she testifies, that one of the first things she says is like, I hope I could still be in law enforcement. Why the fuck would think how fucked up you have to be to have that cross your mind. Of course you can't be in law enforcement, bitch. You burn that bridge. Like, that's over. Over. I can't be in the NBA because I'm 37 and I'm small and I'm white. I gave up on that one, right? You can't be every job in the fucking world. I can't be an astronaut. I think that bridge is passed. But she wanted to be a fucking cop, and she realized, even though she came from like a fucked up background and all this shit, she had one thing to offer. Poontang. Right? And she was going to use that to the best. She was going to fuck whoever she needed to fuck in order to get that. And she kind of talks about it in this here about how she like, Dan Ristine, when she gets the job, right? Somehow gets the fucking job as a dispatcher, right? Despite the fact that the fucking state police themselves investigated her and testified against her a year before. A year after that, she gets the job as a dispatcher. Weird. And Danny Ristine, who's Danny, she like paints Danny as like the nicest guy in there. Danny's like the most fucking corrupt cop in the history of Massachusetts. And he should be in fucking jail too, if you ask me. Danny comes in there, and Danny is always like so nice to her, even though he's fucking 17 years older. There's no way she was attracted to him. She saw someone with power who she could fuck, and because he could get her shit. And that's why she dumped him, right? Because she already, once she became a state trooper, he was of no use to her anymore. Ha ha. So she sees him because why is he there? Why is he in the dispatch center? Because he got in trouble. Because motherfucker got the Logan airport job. Only the old guys get that. It's like the plum job in the state police. And what was he doing? He was running around, running license plates on fucking, doing background searches on Tom Brady and shit. For God knows what purposes. She also admits in there, when she starts dating him, that they, what did you find out about him? He gets a call about a DUI. A state trooper calls him after crashing into a woman and calls Danny up, and they fix it. Finds a fucking guy to send a car to, all this shit. And why do you think the guy called Ristine? Because Ristine's the fixer. That's like his, obviously, what he's known for in the state police. Like, if you get a DUI, if you fuck something up and you want to keep your job, call this guy up. He'll clean your shit up, dude. Real nicely. And she talks about that. I don't know if she realizes, like, how incriminating that is to, I mean, he's not going to be tried for that or anything like that, but, like, Jesus, right? And, by the way, a lot of people forgot, this chick was, like, briefly married. Briefly. She got married right after she testified against Bucci. She marries this guy, he's a corrections officer named Jay. And Jay wanted to have kids. And, of course, she doesn't want to have kids. And so she's like, what'd she say in there? I didn't want to end up in a divorce bar with 2 kids I didn't really want to have, but got pregnant because he wanted them, older and miserable. Well, how about this, hun? How about you don't marry him, bitch? How about that? Has marriage lost its meaning in this country? Where it's just like, bitch, you've been married for like a year. And you're like, not even fucking planning to like die together. You're just like, yeah, I didn't want to end up in a divorce bar. How about you don't get divorced? How about that? At the same time, if you wanted to have kids, he probably should have discussed this before getting married to her. Probably. But you know what? The pussy was probably too good, and he just couldn't resist it. I mean, this girl, talk about a powerful vajayjay. The fucking spell that she fucking puts on men. Good Lord. She can get anything she wants. And by the way, she's currently fucking a cop at a Worcester cop. She's banging another cop. Trust me when I say she's got fucking plans, man. She's going to ride that shit wherever it takes her. So anyway, she talks about, meeting more local cops. I couldn't even keep track of all the married men she was banging. There's so many fucking married dudes she's talked about banging in here, right? She cheated on her husband, she said, with a married cop. A state trooper, of course, mind you. I mean, it was insane. Absolutely fucking insane. Now, I loved when we found out about that day, what was it, February, whatever. That was my favorite chapter of the book. Here it is, right? On February 19th, 2018, I was doing my usual routine. Oh, I should do it in Leigha voice. Actually, we should hear Leigha voice. Leah's got a video in this blog, I believe, right? Can we hear that for a minute? Just so you understand. I mean, I thought I didn't even know her voice sounded like this. It's worse than I thought. Where's she at? Here it is. Listen to this. Where'd it fucking go? Here it is.
I am on no sleep. Work till 7:30 in the morning, and I do a job at night. One. You ever order Starbucks in the app? And you walk in and you get your coffee? I'm kind of surprised that nobody just walks in all the time and grabs a coffee and leaves.
Oh, small talk.
Two. So, my book was leaked. Guys, think about it. Do you really think if the publisher, if they sign it, that's looking at it, I'm going to be able to call everybody out by name without getting sued? This way, unedited, all the people that I can tell to go fuck off, they get to read it. Unedited, unpublished. Coast is clear. And now they know what piece of shit they are. So, method to my madness, not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Method to my, like, she really thinks she's fucking sly. Like, method to my madness, like, not that big of a deal. Gotta go. Bye. I just went to Starbucks, and what do you guys, like, think of that? Like, totally, like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, I can't believe this chick's was a trooper. Like, basically what she's saying there is she wants to get this book published. You might want to fucking reread it again, hon. You might want to fucking reread it, right? And she can't get it published with names in it, so she doesn't name names in there. But she wants them to know. She's basically like, all you guys, like, fuck me over, okay? And why does she feel fucked over? As we see in the book, there are many guys in the book and former co-workers of her that she felt close with that don't want to talk to her anymore, that didn't return texts. I fucking laughed out loud reading some of these, man. I fucking laughed out loud, right? All these people talking. We'll get to that 1 minute. I want to talk about, hear about the incident when it happened. I just got to read this. Because this is fucking awesome. Let me read this to you. Yeah, well, by the way, how about this whole thing about, like, Danny didn't get me breaks, all this shit? She really thinks she got into the state police on her own accord. Still, mind-boggling. So on February 19th, I was doing my usual routine. Headed to the Danvers barracks to work out for an hour prior to my shift at 1500. So she's still using fucking cop words. Shut up. I finished my PT, went to the showers, and suddenly my phone was blowing up. My friend Courtney texted me and said, "Where are you?" I responded, where I always am, LOL, what's up? She told me to call her immediately when I said I would give her a shout when I got in my cruiser. Suddenly my friend Sylvia texted me, "Why does he hate you so much?" I responded with, "Who? What the fuck are you talking about?" She wrote back, "Oh my God, Leah, you don't know yet," and sent the link. I paused and took a deep breath as I began to shake as I hit the link. State Trooper Leigha Genduso, admitted drug dealer, perjurer, and tax evader, friends with former MSP Colonel Marion McGovern, dated Lieutenant Colonel prior to being hired. The anxiety in my body was something I couldn't even put into words. However, I calmly texted my sergeant and my senior K-9 trooper, who was also working the shift that I would be taking sick time for the shift, gathered my gear, walked by a few troopers in the gym, and got into my cruiser. I suddenly felt a sense of numbness overcome my body as I began to sweat. This is it, I thought. My life is officially destroyed, and I knew what I had to do. So from there, like, I love how that actually brought me great satisfaction reading that, because I understood I often wondered what was Leah thinking the second she saw this, and now I know that she knew she must have been sitting on the secret for a long time, and like she was prepared for this day. And the second it came, she just goes, "I knew what I needed to do. I knew what I needed to do." Right? Because I remember working on that blog all fucking day. It felt good. And hitting that publish button. Like, the whole time I was writing, I'm like, oh, this chick has no idea. I wonder what she's doing right now. I wonder if she's at work. Her life is about to fucking end. Right? And so she goes home and she buys a bottle of JMO, as she calls it, gets fucking white girl wasted. And she says she's about to blow her brains out, which I don't necessarily even believe. She said, like, she had a gun upstairs, and all of a sudden a bunch of cops came there, which I knew about. And they raid her house, and they're like, "Where's your guns?" They're missing a gun. Danielle from WAF comes over, tries to talk some sense into her. She gets mad, punches a wall, hits a stud, shatters her hand. She can't get surgery because she's still drunk. I mean, it's a wild read in that regard. I thought that part was hilarious. That was news to me. I did not know that. And they find the fucking gun, one in the couch, and blah, blah. She said she wanted to blow her brains out, so they send her to the loony bin. And in the loony bin, she gets there for a week. She makes a couple friends, right? She talks to some girls, and she's like still talking about like wanting to like become a trooper, it's like, wait a minute, but you said you were going to blow your brains out. You think you're coming back like you're going to be a fucking trooper again after that? Why the fuck did you want to blow your brains out if you thought there was a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow? That doesn't make any sense. And yeah, she keeps referring to Turtle Boy as the white trash blogger, all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And she talks about how Howie Carr would read each and every comment. I don't know if this just isn't loading and I can't see that, but anyway, some of this shit was just too good for words, man. And she accuses Carrie Gilpin of being a lesbian, which is interesting. She also talks about how the Boston Globe did an article. Anyways, the story came out and sadly didn't do much. That was fucking great because no one reads the Globe on. Nobody fucking gives a fuck about the Globe. But how about that? I mean, that kind of tells you the difference between the Globe and Turtleboy Sports. The Globe tries to write a nice article about her to make her look good. It does shit. Turtleboy writes an article, fucking destroys her life. How about that? So how do you like me now, Leah? How do you like me now? Anyway, somebody, that's a great comment I see in the comments right now. Narcissists don't commit suicide. That's a good point. This is just an attention whore, right? She wasn't really going to kill herself. No fucking way, right? No way was this chick going to kill herself. And she just wants more attention. Now, we documented how she got a job at the bar in Danvers, and she accused some fat guy of taking pictures of her. I mean, she don't look bad, man. She looks good. I can understand why all these cops wanted to bang her. I mean, she's a nice little fucking piece of sweet potato pie, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, Howie Carr, I guess Howie Carr was calling up her work every day. It's like, hey, is Genduso there? I want to buy some pot off of Genduso. Oh, she hates Howie Carr. She hates Turtle Boy. All this shit. And, oh, man, she just goes on. And bottom line is, we don't find out in the book how she got the fucking job. She doesn't mention McGovern. She doesn't mention Dodolo, the people that actually got her the fucking job. She insists Ristine had nothing to do with it, which means only one thing. She still believes after all this time that she got on because of her own merits. Now, I also like the part about Dana Pullman, who, by the way, has some skeletons in his closet. He was the union president at the time, who does nothing for her, basically. Fucking nothing. At one point, he tells her in front of the Boston Globe that, and the lawyer, that 50 state troopers, 50, will testify that they knew about her being a drug dealer before she became a trooper. That's huge, because that would prove that she didn't lie, right? And it was a huge conspiracy. And then when push comes to shove, the Boston Globe calls him up and he's like, I got no comment. He fucks her. He was just trying to get her to flip on Ristine. Oh, God, that was beautiful. When the union fucking fucked her over, that was great. It's bad when your own union wants nothing to do with you. Because you're a fucking joke. I mean, how could they? How could they? So, what a fucking joke. What an absolute disgrace this chick is. Shame on the state and Charlie Baker. This is one thing that, I feel like a Democratic governor wouldn't have put up with this shit, because Democrats don't like the police in general, and Republicans, kind of do. And I feel like Charlie Baker just, wants to kiss. I feel like he's a fucking wannabe cop, kind of, the way he carries himself and shit like that. Charlie Baker, all tall and shit. He's fucking phony. So, I just feel like this was unresolved, man. They threw it all on her. And she took one for the team. They fucked her over so badly, right? And she had to take all the fucking rap. It was just, I lied to get on all the shit. Why not fucking say names? Burn shit. If that was me, I would burn it to the ground. And she really thinks that, this burned them. It's like, bitch, you didn't name anyone. You named one person who did nothing wrong. You named a female cop named Jen, who, by the way, you allegedly guided through the academy because she came after you. Guided. What the fuck does that even mean? What'd you say? Don't quit? You can do this? Give me a break. Guided. And she really thinks she's this elder, wise person. Even after all the drug shit went down, in the Turtleboy article went down, she really thought she would come back and become a state trooper as like some type of like liaison for like talk to troubled cops or something like that. Or like fucked up cops with PTSD. Bitch, that's not how this works. You're not Chris Herron. You're not some fucking junkie who goes around getting paid to talk to kids about not being a junkie. That's not how the state police work. There's no like reformed state police officers. State police officers have to be fucking flawless from day one. They gotta be clean. Can't fucking get your way into the fucking state police. Give me a break. So I was really disappointed in that. I did like I liked the abortion story. I liked all the sex stories. I found that fascinating. I liked the hand punching. I liked a lot of that shit. I just didn't like how she didn't fucking give up the goods. I didn't like that. So, not a bad thing. The union let's see what people are saying about it. The union treated her like a patient with C. diff. Absolutely. I mean, she was an embarrassment to the union, man. An embarrassment to the union. Charlie Baker's a Democrat pretending to be a Republican. I mean, he is, except when it comes to law enforcement. He's very, wants to support the police. Remember, Deval Patrick used to shit on the cops all the time. You don't see that from Charlie Baker, and I feel like that's why he's, afraid to go after the state police brass and wants to protect them. Let's see. The Grace doing the voice and him laughing at me. Yeah, that was hilarious, too. Grace did a great job on Howie today. Let's see. Any other thing? Can we vote on which Leigha is the hottest? I like bartender Leigha, man. I like bartender Leigha a lot. She was meant to be a bartender. Let's be honest. You're making nice. Or, she seems good with dogs, right? Why can't she work in a fucking kennel or something? Or do dog grooming or some shit? There's opportunities for her out there. And if all that fails her, she can just fuck somebody, right? I mean, that's the beauty of being a good-looking chick. She's in her late 30s. She's still got 10 good years of fucking left in her. So find some good dick with some money and ride that shit until you can't ride no more, basically. Yeah. Let's see what people are saying. I want to talk about one more topic here, right? It's her Shrewsbury privilege liaison. Oh, I like that one. That's a good one. Liaison. Would you hire her as a blogger if she asked? No, she can't fucking write, man. Adam, she can't fucking write. She's not entertaining. I mean, what would she write about? Just how many guys she fucked that week? She's not funny. She's not engaging. She's annoying. The readers would fucking hate her. But yeah, I'd have her on a podcast, though. If she wants to come on live, the door is open. Definitely the door is open if she wants to come on live. What else are people saying? He wants to defend the police so much that covers up for them. Yeah, basically. I'm sure Sweaty Betty's is higher. That's another thing. Why not just become a stripper if you're her? You know what I mean? The fuck do you care? Now we're talking. Now we're fucking talking. First of all, you have nothing to lose. You have no dignity. You have no pride. Everybody knows you're a whore now, right? You might as well take your clothes off. I would definitely pay a lot of money to get a long lap dance from Leigha Genduso. I don't know about you guys. Just to see what it's like. Just so I could blog about it. And I feel like a lot of you guys would too. Chicks included. Tell me who right now wouldn't get a lap dance from Leigha Genduso. And if you say you wouldn't, I think you're lying. And I definitely think she should become a stripper because why the fuck not? I mean, think about that night. That would be a huge night for any strip club. It's bigger than Stormy Daniels. Leigha Genduso is making her debut down at Sweaty Betty's for the breakfast buffet. Come on down. Oh, man, that'd be fantastic. She'd come out with her handcuffs and shit like that. It'd be awesome. Where do you get what book? Are you looking for the Leigha Genduso book? The Leigha Genduso book is in the it's in the blog. It's embedded in it. And the Turtleboy book is on Amazon. Dude, that broad might stab you if you see her legit. Yeah, she might. I mean, but I feel like, I don't know. If I wasn't, I'm married, so she might want to hook up with me, right? I mean, I wouldn't. I'm very loyal. But I feel like I fit the criteria, right? I'm a guy who has a little bit of influence, right? And I'm married. That's about it. I don't have a badge, but I can pretend if she likes, Yeah, you can't download it from the blog, but you can read it from the blog. I don't know how PDFs work like that. So anyway, so let's talk about this other topic. One more thing I want to talk about. I want to rant about Barstool Sports for a minute. I don't know how many of you people read Barstool out there, but I used to read all the time when I was younger and shit like that. I can't read it anymore. It's just not good content. It's not entertaining. He's hired too many personalities. I don't even know who the fuck I'm supposed to care about it anymore. It's just stupid, right? They've gone full SJW, and never has this been more evident than when Dave Portnoy the other day announced that he is banning comments from his site. The only reason, and I mean the only reason I've ever considered clicking on a Barstool blog in the last 3 years has been to read the comments. Because all people do in the comments is shit on Barstool now. It's great. And how bad it is. It's great entertainment. I love watching. I wouldn't call them a competitor because obviously they're a lot bigger than us. But I like to watch people who do something similar to what we do go down. I think that's great. Who wouldn't? If you were in my industry. And so he writes this blog, I'm shutting down comments forever or until further notice. He goes, I've noticed the comments section, which I fucking despise and have despised for a long time, is getting worse and worse. We try to stop it. We try to ban people. We can't stay ahead of it. I'm talking N-bombs in every post. The last post I wrote, there was a comment that said, I hope N-bomb blows their heads off with a gun. Right? Are you serious? Well, I've had enough. I've made the decision to shut it down effective immediately until we can regain control of it. And if we never bring it back, I don't care. I don't care if you hate me, hate Barstool, etc. I don't care. The racist shit has to stop. If we can't stop it, I'll just eliminate it, and that's exactly what I just did. People will blame Erica, Chernin Group, etc. Guess what? They wanted to keep it and fix it. I'm told it will cost our company money with clicks. Guess what? I don't care. And he's absolutely right about that. It's trash. Go read some other site. And that was my favorite. Go read some others. Yes, Turtleboy. Convince any of these fucking Stoolies older the age of 25, basically. That's what we'd be looking for. Just bring them our way. I feel like we provide much. We do what Barstool fucking wishes they do. We have a saying. We are what fucking Turtleboy is what Deadspin thinks Barstool is, essentially. Right? They're fucking harmless, the Barstool Sports. We're the ones that actually fucking, pushes boundaries and shit. And so, all these people, he's rich, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit if he's rich, right? That means nothing to me. His site sucks now because people can't comment on it. And I will never, ever, ever, this is one thing I promise you, ever police the comment section. I don't usually read the comments. I don't comment myself. Sometimes I will. I read a lot of the comments on the Genduso one, right? Because I thought they'd be funny. And yeah, there's always a couple shit posters in there, like the WWY guy who just writes about the Jews and just not entertaining, not witty, just blatantly offensive shit. He could probably some social justice warrior trying to make us look bad, actually. You know what I mean? But I'm never going to do it because that's where you get your say, right? The blogs are where we get our say. South Shore Turtle Girl in Bristol and others have done this. They used to go into blogs and fight with people, and I had to put a kibosh on them. You can't do that. You can't go in there and fight with these people because that's their space to talk, right? You had your say. Your say was the blog, right? Their say is the comments. And ultimately, the blog gets a lot more views than the comments. So why do we have to dominate everything? If people don't feel like they're welcome to express themselves on your site, then your site sucks. Your site's not cool anymore. That's why Facebook sucks now, right? Facebook used to be cool because you used to be able to go on there and express yourself. And you can't do that anymore. You get fucking shut down. And I love watching these people fail. The number one way to destroy your website is to censor speech, man. There's nothing less cool than censoring. Right? We want interesting ideas. I don't care how, even if you're a fucking racist, right? I will combat you. I will fight you. I will argue your points, right? But I kind of want to hear why. I'm curious how people get to be racist. I am. I mean, how the fuck do people get like that? I kind of want to hear it. And it's just so stupid to shut it down. Now, I understand the stupid shit. So this is the one he was talking about, right? I want to put a shotgun in an N-word's mouth and pull the goddamn trigger. Now notice it got 18 downvotes. That's a good thing, right? Don't you think? It's like, that's a sign that your audience is like, we don't approve of this. So what the fuck? It's like the most important part of any blog or any website is the comments. When I see an article on the Boston Globe or something like that, I don't even click on the article, man. I go right to the Facebook page and I read the comments. Because it's always good. And I like the way Facebook has it set up where like the best comments come up first because they got the most likes. That's the best. Everybody likes that. And so that is my promise to you, right? I will never, ever, ever fucking do this. First of all, it would cost me money because less people would read the blog, I feel like. And that's what's going to happen to him. Now, what he did today, and this is the cheapest fucking move I've ever heard in the history of anything, right? He announces he's going to bring the comments back. If you join Barstool Gold. Barstool Gold is like a subscription now. You pay, I forget what it is, $100 a year or something like that, and you get new podcasts that not everyone else gets, and stupid shit. So he's making like levels. Now I don't have a problem with that, right? And I've thought about doing that for Turtleboy, like a VIP section, right, where we have like different kind of content that no one else gets. Or what we're gonna do is have an ad-free subscription for $10 a month. And you get no ads, right? And so you're getting a better thing than everyone else is getting. That I have no problem with. But his thing is like, you can't even fucking comment. And he's basically making you pay to comment. Which is so fucking cheap. I can't even describe it. Yeah, a lot of people are going to fucking do it just so they can comment. But Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, how much of a moron do you have to be to fucking pay a penny for that shit? How much of a moron? I mean, who the fuck is buying this? Because people are definitely buying it. When you have millions of readers, you're going to get some people to buy it. And now that especially he doesn't let you comment without it, it's kind of genius if you want to make money. But in the long run, I think it damages your brand. I really do. Because free speech is our brand. And it's always going to be free, baby. You can always talk on air. We're never going to fucking charge you to have opinions. Give me a break. Give me a break. So, yeah. Wait, where were the comments? TB is Frank Rizzo. Barstool is Sel Rosenberg. Absolutely. What happened with Ryan today? It got postponed till Thursday. Barstool did the blogging. What Gillette did the shaving. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. I'm not even going to talk about that Gillette shaving commercial. What a fucking joke that is. Charlie says, I unfollowed Barstool. Enough is enough. Yeah, man. Absolutely. There are too much sports on Barstool. It's like, I don't give a shit about some of this shit. Yeah, it's like, I outgrew it, man. I got too old for it. Maybe not. Maybe just El Prez used to be like the primary blogger on there. He doesn't blog at all anymore, you know? I have no interest in these random personalities they create. Like, who the fuck is Trent? You know, who is Chaps? I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. I'm supposed to be interested in what they have to say. I don't give a fuck about them. Yeah. Any other all right, let's do a little question and answer thing now that I had my rant about that. Any questions you guys have on here, let me know. Talk about Gillette. I want to hear a rant. All right, so real quick at Gillette, that stupid fucking commercial. So they made a commercial in which it's like basically virtue signaling on steroids. They're like, men, we need to step up and be better. And there's two boys wrestling in front of like dads at a barbecue, and the dads go, boys will be boys. And then they show like men grabbing ass and sexually harassing chicks. And they're like, no, son. No. And pulls them apart. And the moral of the story is there, if you subscribe to the philosophy that boys will be boys, your kid's going to be a rapist. Like, that's basically what it comes down to. Now, I don't have a problem with the message overall, but I kind of do at the same time, right? First of all, you're marketing towards men. This is a big fucking turnoff. Like, you're not selling feminine hygiene products here, right? Like, nobody's like standing and clapping. Like, I'm not gonna buy Gillette because you're fucking woke now. And when is like the one about like, you know, like what if that was about black people, right? Like, what if that said like, you know, well, statistically, black people commit more crimes, so we got to stop committing crimes. How would that be viewed? That would be viewed as fucking racist. And I would consider that borderline racist if they did that. This is sexist against men, obviously, right? It's assuming that we need to be lectured by fucking Gillette, of all people, about how not to be fucking sexual perverts. It's fucking insane. And yes, guess what? Boys will be boys. They will not be girls. They will always be boys. And they will wrestle. And they will get dirty. And they will fucking make disgusting jokes. And they will fart. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? And when they're older, they will be perverted. As long as you respect women, right? As long as you don't fucking disrespect women to their face, as long as you don't fucking trash women behind their backs, there's nothing fucking wrong with that. Of course, men are different from women. I hate to break it to you people, but we're built differently. My son is a fucking animal. My daughter is a princess, right? There's no describing it. I go to my friend's house that has 3 daughters. You go there, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I go to my friend's house that has 3 sons. It's fucking chaos. Absolute fucking chaos. If I were him, I'd consider, fuck Leigha Genduso, I'd consider killing myself if I had 3 sons. Right? It's an absolute fucking nightmare what these boys do to each other. Because they're boys. That's what they do. They're crazy and shit. Alright? That doesn't mean they're going to grow up to be rapists and sexually assault people. Right? It just means that they're fucking different. Right? So there's my rant about that. It was definitely on the agenda. Someone was going to do that, blog on that, but they never did it. What else are people asking here? So you heard the rant about that. When he does blog, Portnoy, his blogs are always about himself. It's just stupid, just building himself up. And, all these 19-year-olds, go, Prez, go, brick by brick. Yeah, it's awesome. Good for him. He's making money, but his product sucks. Let's see. I'm sure nobody associated with other dudes who openly treat women like that. I know wouldn't. It's all overstated. Absolutely, right? Let's see. No questions, but kudos to YouTube Live. Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. What are some other questions I see in here? I like how Gillette proved there are only 2 genders. That's a good point. That's a very good point. They inadvertently committed a microaggression, and they did not know it. I put off playing a video game for this. Can you imagine? Oh, thanks, Charlie. Appreciate that. Appreciate your patronage here. Did you see Donald Trump treat Clemson to a fancy McDonald's dinner? Many fries. I did see that, and here's my question about that. Didn't it get fucking cold? I saw those Big Macs and shit on the table. They obviously went through security and shit, 3 fucking levels of whatever. Imagine there was shit going at the White House from McDonald's. You knew you were cooking for the White House. Obviously, that food is going to be heavily scrutinized, right? How is it not freezing cold when they ate it? If you let McDonald's sit there for 10 minutes, it's going to be fucking cold, man. It's not good. That was my big question about that. Other than that, I was all for it. Of course, the media freaked out about it because that's what they always do. Whatever. It's fucking McDonald's. Everybody likes McDonald's. The Clemson guys loved it. My only problem is it's fucking Clemson and not Notre Dame. I wish it was Notre Dame. But obviously, Notre Dame is not in the same realm as Clemson and Alabama. I've come to terms with that. What else? Any other questions you guys have before we call it a night here? 14% of the population, 50% of the violent crime. Yeah, but what about men, right? That's a good point, right? Black people commit a disproportionate amount of crime, but so do men, right? Does that mean we have to be lectured about it? It's no. Shouldn't the home be the place where that takes place? Shouldn't your parents be the ones to instill values in me? I need fucking Gillette. Fucking Gillette. Give me a break. Let's see. And honestly, we need more masculinity in this world. We don't have nearly enough masculinity, right, going on in this world. We have too many beta males raising men to be pussies, right? And I think that's a bigger problem, quite frankly, than a lack of masculinity. Have you considered creating a podcast channel on Spotify? The podcast isn't bad. We don't get censored on our podcast. We have a channel on iTunes and on SoundCloud, and honestly, they're going great. Ryan Waters, we didn't have court today. It was pushed off until Thursday. Have you considered subdividing the blog, like Turtleboy Mass, Connecticut? We kind of had that already, right? With our own bloggers, but I mean, it's all in one place. Y'all got to go. I mean, Barstool has that with Barstool New York, Barstool Philly, but they all ultimately go to Barstool Sports, so it's all in the same place. Can you do a live show after court? I'm not going to court anymore. I mean, my lawyer's going to take care of that for me. Yeah. Any other questions here? Yeah, it was gone within an hour, all of it. Yeah, absolutely. Must have been colder, right? Am I alone in this world looking at that food? I'm like, that shit's got to be cold. Was Aaron Hernandez toxically masculine? He does play at Gillette Stadium. No, because he killed a dude. You're allowed to kill. He never beat any women because he was gay, but he definitely, killed some guys, so that's okay, I guess. Anyway, why don't we call it a day? And we will call it a night, rather. Good Turtle Boy Live, whatever, podcast here. And I'm going to try to do this every Tuesday and Thursday, the podcast. I don't want to do it every night. I like to chill sometimes, spend a little quality time with the fam. But we will talk to you guys soon. All right? Peace, Turtle Riders.